you, some of you, most of you.
It's probably not good to
For
see
top-
all of you. Let's be honest.
True.
We got to be honest here. We're nothing.
Let's
if
not lie.
True.
Blunt on the show.
True. Hope you guys are doing well. By the way, if you are watching
for
either
those of you
live
who it's
or
not
on
gonna
demand,
see-
just let us know where you're watching from. That's we get that with the podcast map. We can see
Oh,
that, but
man.
YouTube we can't necessarily see that. So let us
Wow.
know where are you watching from.
Aaron, can I introduce picks of the week? I got some good
Yeah.
stats on this game.
yes, please do.
As in depraved stats. Oh no. For topic 2, I just threw in a bunch of different things that we can talk about.
Okay.
So that's not a like, hey, let's talk about all of it. It's just depending on how much time we got, we can hit a few of them.
Yeah, the Jimmy Butler stuff's fascinating. I don't know if we get to that, but
Yeah.
it's fascinating.
Just depends how much the first topic takes.
Yeah. All right. Josh, the beauty of the Buffalo Bills TikTok account is now I have this. Yep.
The happiest the Bills have made me all 24 hours.
Yep. All right. I think I'm good on my side. I just got to hit record.
I'm ready.
Okay, let me close that ass
Think
and
I'm
reopen it,
good.
which is
Oh yeah, I've been
a
on
weekly
this whole time.
occurrence. Okay,
I'm recording and ready to go.
Getting that burp out of the way.
nice. All right, I think I'm good too. Give me 1 second.
Hold on.
There we
Check.
Yep.
There we go.
go. All right. Get all my
All right.
coughs and phlegm out of the way from being sick all week. You're welcome, chat, for muting right there. All right, here we go.
Welcome to the Fifth and Goal Sports Podcast. Now, here are your hosts, Aaron, Josh, and Johnny.
Welcome to the show. Listeners, viewers, it's good to have you here. Hey, look, if you're new to this show, welcome. Here's the lesson you're going to learn being new. We are only allowed to be happy 1 week at a time.
Mm-hmm.
That's the lesson. Last week, thrilled. Buckeyes win a national championship. Really couldn't have a better week if we tried.
Truly.
And now we're sitting here with an Eagles and Chiefs Super Bowl, and we all want to die.
You know what I am, Aaron? I'm 2 points up.
Yeah, well, right. You
Here's
are.
the thing. This is what we call. Do you remember, Aaron? I watched the Ohio State Cal game at your house.
Yes.
This would have been back probably freshman year of college.
Oh, smooth
Around that
jazz.
Smooth
Yeah,
jazz.
true.
Exactly.
Kenny G.
Smooth jazz, Kenny G. And Ohio State was beating Cal so bad that the announcers switched away from actual like good plays. It's like celebrating good plays that Cal had done by just saying, "Oh man, they only held him to 4 yards there. You gotta really count
Right.
that as a moral victory." That's how I'm coping right now.
Hmm.
Is that if I end up winning this season of picks, that is a moral victory for me, even if it came at such a high cost.
It cost you everything.
It cost me
But
everything.
you won.
You saw that meme too on Twitter, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about both the NFC and the AFC championship games. We'll talk about we'll talk about it all. And look, if you're listening to this and assuming you're not a Kansas City Chiefs fan, you're probably in a similar place to us today. So allow our dumb words that will spew at you for the next hour to maybe work as I don't know, a coping mechanism, a way of feeling heard, maybe your voices, or just straight up tell us how you feel, either on YouTube or Twitter or really, frankly, any social media platform. We're there. But that's what we're talking about today. I don't know if we'll necessarily break down like Kansas City, Philadelphia, the game. We've got next week to do that if we want to. Frankly, I don't know if we even want to do that next week either. We'll see what mood we're in, I guess. Because in a lot of ways, we did that 2 years ago, and now here we are doing it all over again. So we'll see if it's a different result. Johnny, what's up though? How's your week outside of yesterday?
It was going really well until last night. I mean, geez, it was a pretty good week overall.
Right.
Went to the celebration for Ohio State at the Horseshoe. That was really fun.
Yep.
It was much warmer than 10 years ago. Hard to believe that was 10 years ago. Really fun. Basically, the bad news, the bad vibes started with the Jim Knowles news, and then it just kind of kept like
you ruined my
going after that.
I couldn't make it,
so,
and neither could Jim Knowles.
Oh, sorry, Josh.
Joke. It's fine. See, just another thing ruined as part of this.
It's all right.
It's
you know what?
fine.
But for all you Buckeye fans out there, don't even think twice about it. It's still 1 week. Enjoy the title. Savor it. Don't be stressed out about that. Don't be like Nick Saban. Enjoy the win, and we'll figure it out. Don't worry about that.
We have 5 weeks before spring training. We're fine. We have so much time, guys.
Yeah. Thank you, long NFL season. That too, NCAA season. My week was good too. I was sick for most of this week, so I was like thinking back through what did I do, and then I realized, oh yeah, nothing. I didn't do a thing. Watched a lot of NBA on Saturday. That was fun. We had Lakers Warriors round whatever, another great game. The Lakers getting the best of the Warriors. We actually may talk some NBA here later on in the show, but and then obviously was not surprised by the results of those 2 championship games, but was hoping for kind of the opposite in both, especially in the AFC. Well, I guess we can dive into it because I don't have anything interesting to say about my week. Kansas City beats Buffalo 32-29. And Josh Allen.
How was my week?
Oh, I thought you... Sorry, Josh, go ahead.
About your week, didn't you talk about your week?
Did we?
Or you spent your week time gloating. That's what you did. You spent your week time gloating.
Yep, no week time for you. I'm just kidding. You
no
can
week
go ahead.
time for me?
No,
Fine.
you can
no,
go
I
ahead.
I think you're right. I think that was my week. I have no clue. We're doing good. What a professional podcast.
Thanks, Buffalo Bills.
Thank you,
TikTok.
Stephen A.
And Stephen A. True. I've got that, Josh, just so you know, I've got that in the soundboard forever now.
It's beautiful.
Forever.
I love that. And that I don't. But I will pretend to love it for the show's sake.
Yeah, it's not your favorite thing, but it is your least favorite thing.
It is my least favorite thing. It's okay. I'm just going to keep my mechanical keyboard on, and you can try and edit out all of the clicky clacks as I'm talking.
Yep. There you go.
Hold on, I'm searching something up.
Yeah, great.
Hold on, it's okay. I'm not petty.
You're searching something up. Oh.
Anyways, how do we segue from this? All right, Bills beat the Chiefs 32-29.
Nobody wants to talk about this game.
Pain. No one wants to talk about it yet. Everyone is talking about it. And it's because, look, Josh Allen played really, really well again. And I don't think there's a lot of people that are putting this as kind of an indictment on Josh Allen because time and time again, it's not his fault. Again, desperation throw at the end. He makes a pass to a wide receiver who drops it. We saw that last year with Stephon Diggs. We've seen the Bills defense not be able to stop the Chiefs from kicking a field goal with 13 seconds left on the clock. Time and time again, Josh Allen is putting his team in position, and it's Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, and maybe some assistants. We'll talk about that. Getting the best of really whoever they're playing. It's another Super Bowl for the Chiefs, another Super Bowl appearance. That's now 5 in 7 years for Patrick Mahomes. And ultimately, the Chiefs have been really, really good in one-score games. Again, partly because they have the best quarterback in the game, the best tight end of all time, maybe one of the best coaches of all time at this point. But the Kansas City
And Black
Chiefs have now
Magic.
won 17 straight one-score game. That is the longest streak in NFL history. They extended that. And look, I think probably we can figure out what percentage should be given to the Chiefs in terms of what credit you give them. But again, the whole Twitter timeline yesterday, and understandably so, is screaming about two critical calls that, again, went to the Kansas City Chiefs. You had the catch that I don't understand why it wasn't incomplete. The ball clearly hit the ground. You had the first down, or the lack thereof, that Josh Allen, it looked like on live that he crossed the line. All the announcers said so. Even Mr. Rules analyst, I can't remember his name, who was in the booth, it's like, yeah, that looked like a first down to me. They reviewed it, upheld it. It's not just that us, like, sports fans with two brain cells screaming on Twitter in our parents' basement. We're not the only ones doing this. And yes, those people are doing it too. You have guys like Matt Leinart and other people whose job is to analyze and talk about football. And they're out here on Twitter and they're up in arms and they're saying this is terrible. And we learned this week that some of this may be helped. We're going to get some reviews maybe in terms of roughing the passer. That particular penalty didn't come into play. But even Adam Schefter, when he's detailing what's going to happen next year, he's even giving just the stats of here's how many penalties have been called in favor of the Chiefs on this play, and here's everybody else.
Aaron, what killed me was Chiefs fans getting angry about that.
Yeah.
Schefter put no opinion on that tweet. Just literally stats, statistics. This is how many times they've been called.
Yep.
Like, anyway, sorry.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know if I have any commentary on those two plays specifically, other than I'm not surprised. And, like, that's not even me being, like, conspiracy person over here. I'm just not surprised.
I did what I could because I knew this is probably where we were going to go. And ultimately, I'm still with you guys emotionally. But in order to, you know what? No, how about this? There's no controversy in that. You both are dumb and wrong. I know, Johnny, you haven't said much yet, but I'm going to count you as dumb and wrong here. This game was not entirely the fault of the Chiefs not so clearly dominating and refs and black magic, although they are going on all-ins.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, crap.
They're getting closer.
There's not a
That's
chance.
closer.
They're going to
True.
kill the Eagles.
Yeah.
Get your voodoo dolls ready.
Yeah.
I think it's clear in my mind that I'll make the hot take. I don't think Sean McDermott is right for the Bills. I think that without Josh Allen, the way he was calling those plays, the way that he has shown himself in these types of tighter games shows me that it might be more of like a LeBron situation where Josh Allen's kind of bailing out a team. And even then, I'll say this too, that opening drive for Josh Allen, he had two basically interceptions that got that weren't that should have been, but just ended up not being for any number of reasons. Those were clean. Those would have been clean interceptions, no penalties on them. And they were relatively bad throws. You had Josh Allen consistently throwing into double and triple coverage on seemingly desperation plays. Last one notwithstanding, his O-line is kind of disintegrated around him, especially on that last play. I saw a lot of people were trying to go, oh, no, there was this guy who was open on the... He was in the middle of getting murdered, so there was no chance for him to look at that. But also, without being too Tom Brady-y, you can't just bop and throw something so... I don't know. The amount of times I was watching with the Chiefs fan, so I had to be careful with my words. But there were so many times I'm like, this is going to be too tight a game for you to afford to make some of those happen to work out throws. The throws from Mahomes, the play designs were just better. He was open more often. There was just better There were better routes. It just looked. I'm frustrated, but I think the Chiefs. Deserved that spot. They looked like the better team, even if we don't have penalties in the way.
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple things. I assume Joe Brady is making the play calls, not Sean McDermott. But I understand, Josh, like the offensive coordinators have changed. The team is relatively the same. And Sean McDermott ultimately gets he bears the brunt of that. The thing that frustrated me from let's just talk football is James Cook was running roughshod over that defense, and they stopped feeding him.
Yep.
They kept bringing in their second and third string running backs, and they kept quarterback sneaking Josh Allen when clearly, and to the left as well, when clearly, and the announcers are calling it out during the game. Clearly, Kansas City saw the film. They knew Josh likes to go over his left guard on the quarterback sneaks. So we're going to overload that side of the defensive line, and we're not going to let him do it. Listen, I think he got that spot, but they stopped him multiple times on 3rd and short and 4th and short because they kept being stubborn. And, early on, you're talking about Josh being reckless. The play calling throughout the game was extraordinarily conservative for the Bills. And that was really frustrating. It was conservative, and it was conservative in a way that you're not even giving the ball to your best rusher. That made no sense. I know James Cook can't be out there for every single play, but you're continuously running the ball with your second and third string backs, and I just don't understand. In critical moments you have to have your best players with the ball in their hands, and you don't have a lot of elite wide receivers on this team. So it needs to be in James Cook's hand. And Josh Allen, it was too many called quarterback runs where it needed to be more opportunities for him to scramble, not just a quarterback power. So that was incredibly frustrating, especially because the spark of hope everybody got was when the Bills defense did hold the Chiefs to a field goal, and it was 32-29, and the Bills got the ball back with 3 minutes to go. That was the moment where I actually thought back to a couple years ago when they played. I think it was a couple years ago when it was the 14-second thing. And I was like, man, the Bills need to obviously get down there and score. I hope they can score a touchdown, but hopefully they also don't leave too much time when they do it.
Right.
But they just totally flamed out. But it was, and this is where I need to give the Chiefs their credit and a question mark to the NFL. I think the hidden success, other than the black magic and officiating for the Chiefs, is Steve Spagnuolo not wanting to be a head coach anymore, not wanting to try again, and just staying there as their defensive coordinator.
Yep.
Because, everybody's like, you blame, oh my gosh, the offensive line didn't give Josh any time on that last play. Guys, it's all these exotic different looks and blitzes that Steve does that he somehow times perfectly just because he's such an experienced defensive coordinator that he just screws with teams. He really does. And you need to be a quarterback. This is going to sound like a dig at Josh Allen, and it's really not. But you almost stylistically have to be more of a Peyton Manning than a Ben Roethlisberger, if that makes sense.
Oh,
where it's not about your physical traits, it's about manipulating the defense. That's why you've seen who are the few quarterbacks who have been able to really get after the Chiefs at times, not even always, Joe Burrow and Tom Brady. They're the only ones to beat Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. So I'm not even saying it's a super high success rate, but it almost starts to feel like you're not going to out-talent them. So you have to be able to match wits with the Chiefs. And Tom and Joe, I think, it's just my theory, have the capacity to make the Chiefs defense go on their heels and are forced to react rather than dictate what's going on the field. And I think in crucial situations, Spagnuolo's so good at forcing the offense, specifically the quarterback, to react to his defense rather than the quarterback able to manipulate the safety and the coverage and what's going on. And I thought that was just a clinic by him on that last play. We don't need to relitigate the it's a terrible spot. Somehow the official, who's further away and not even looking gets to spot the ball instead of the one who clearly saw where he was and was closer. I mean, that's ridiculous. I also think he just had a first down on the catch beforehand.
Yeah, right.
But anyway, the one thing, I hope this isn't true, but there's also things that because I just want to defend fans here for a second, because this is the type of day where fans get mocked and, oh, you're just angry they're so good and you guys are being ridiculous. And yes, sure, there's some of that. People are just sick and tired of them. However, on the last play, when it's an incompletion to Kincaid, just because he's just not able to grip that ball, in fairness to him, that's a much harder catch than it looks.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
yeah. The immediate.
the ball isn't in a spiral. It's totally wobbly.
It was
He's
an
kind of
awkward
going
position.
across his body. Yeah.
It was it would have been a miracle catch.
Yes.
You can't blame him.
But there was a flag thrown on that play.
Okay, so
And that's where everybody for a moment says, like, oh, was there like, did they come off sides? Was there holding in the secondary? And they're just like, oh, just kidding. There wasn't a flag. And I think that, again, I'm not saying this is the case, but those little things have started to pile up season after season after season for the Chiefs, where if that happens in a Ravens Commanders game in the regular season, nobody thinks anything of it. But now when it happens to the Chiefs, who have gotten every controversial call to go their way, every penalty seemingly at the right perfect moment to help them, it made everybody feel like, oh, it didn't even matter if the Bills had completed that pass. You threw a flag and you were going to call some bogus holding or something, even if they did convert. Again, I'm not saying that happened, but you have to understand what's happening to fans at this point. When that happens time after time after time, and then you have something like that happen, you're like, this is a load of crap.
Yep.
Like, it is totally conspired against us now. So, yeah, I guess that's my rant over. There was some football in there, not just me being upset with the results.
Yeah, I mean, fans, don't let anyone call you crazy, because number one, part of being a fan is you are a little crazy. That's actually a requirement to be a fan. So congratulations. But I mean, no, I don't think this is some grand conspiracy. But again, I also have eyeballs, and so do you. If you're frustrated about this, and you see that the Chiefs get the benefit of the doubt, and the 31 other franchises are united around this. So, I understand. And this is going to be a generational hate watch coming up in a couple weeks in New Orleans.
I don't know. I might just bring a book.
I mean, a lot of people are like, I'm not watching this. You probably are. Let's be real. But you're hate watching, and I respect that.
Hate watching is still watching.
I have a question, though. People keep phrasing this as like, oh my gosh, people are cheering for the Meteor instead of like Philly or Kansas City. And I'm like, are people really cheering against Philly?
I'm not.
Listen, I don't care for Nick Sirianni. I don't. But I have nothing against the Eagles at all. And I really like Saquon Barkley.
Mhm.
So
From what
I
I can
don't
tell-
I would love to see Saquon win a Super Bowl and kind
Yeah.
of stick it to the Giants.
Right.
That
From
sounds,
my-
it's not what I preferred, but cool.
But-
That dude's a monster.
Mhm.
He deserves it.
I'm wondering, my working theory is, you know how everybody hates Notre Dame? Except
Yes.
recently you're like, I mean, I just don't have the
They're
passion
not so
for it."
bad.
That's fine.
Marcus Freeman.
I'm wondering. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Marcus Freeman. I wonder if there is something to that generationally where we're like, Jason Kelsey, Saquon Barkley, it's fine. If there's because that's what I've seen on Twitter. It's this hatred for Philadelphia that's similar to like a hatred for the Bills, and I'm like, I wonder if you all just hate like this area as how you remember it from like the 1980s.
Hmm.
Because I'm like, I'm assuming Buffalo 1980s, Philadelphia 1980s has a slightly different character to it. That's my only guess. Because yeah, you're right. This hate, I'm like, it's not like I'm a massive Eagles fan at all, but I'm also not like I have no emotions other than my biggest emotion with this is I'm more like not boredom, but I'm like I've already seen this Super Bowl.
I think that's it. It's the same teams over and over again more than it's like they don't like the Eagles. Because the Eagles played the same game recently.
It's more that people wanted Bills Lions.
Yeah. They won different teams.
It's our college football deserving versus earned.
People love parody. People love parody. People love parody, but the reality is typically like people hate watch. So like as much as we love parody, like in March Madness, like what gets the better rating? Like, yeah, you want the underdog, but you also want Duke still there. Yeah. Like you want Duke there to play the underdog, like to play against the underdog. You don't want two underdogs in March Madness playing each other. Like I do, but the ratings don't say that, you know? So like ideally you would have the Chiefs playing the Commanders, you know, honestly, up and coming plucky team, you know, that nobody's clearly sick of them. Like they've been awful forever. Most people feel sympathetic towards them, like with Dan Snyder being their owner for a long time. Like everybody would get on that train, like no problem. By the way, just on them, because I know we kind of sidestepped them. That was ugly, but what a fantastic season for Washington. Like unmitigated success. I know that didn't look good, but there's no way on earth you could have fathomed the season that they had.
Oh, fantastic.
And first year with the new ownership, you nailed the coach, you nailed the quarterback. Man, you're good to go. You got to fill out that roster. There's a lot of holes, but free agents are going to want to come there now. Mm-hmm. You have a real owner and you have the quarterback. Yeah. I mean, so good on them. They got to feel great. Not yesterday, but in general, they should feel great.
And even yesterday, if you don't fumble 3 times, who knows? You know, like that game got out of hand worse than it would have because of those turnovers. And that's what we saw throughout. The team that turned it over more lost every single playoff game. So it's a pretty easy equation for the playoffs. No mystery there. So, well, yes, that's true. I forgot that game at the end reversed even that. So, Yay!
Is this the end of the road for Johnny?
I believe it is.
Yep, he's done. He's toast. Boy, yeah. Hate watch. I'm curious what the numbers are going to be out of this because everyone's saying I'm not watching. I just like, and I get it. I get it. I'm not poking fun. I get it. I just think the numbers are going to be just as good as they always are.
Oh, no, Aaron, they're going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Don't you know what the theory is? Like it's the whole Travis is going to propose
Swift.
after the game to Taylor and he's going to retire. And the numbers will be insane. Yeah. You might lose football people, but they will be easily replaced.
Yep.
Like, sorry, guys. Like, I'm with you, but they won't miss us.
Not about the fan. It was not that it was never about the obsessive sports nerd fans.
True.
You got to get right or wrong.
Not in the Super Bowl.
Especially not the Super Bowl. Do you know how many people that I work with at my job, I guess former job, that were so excited for the Chiefs because like some of them, I'm in Texas, and if you aren't a Cowboys fan, which very few people are, it's basically by birth down here. I know we'll get into that later. They're forced to be Cowboys fans. Most everyone else, Chiefs. And so some of them are like, oh man, it's just been forever, like born and raised Chiefs fans. Yes, exact. Yes, born born in Kansas City, born in Oklahoma, and just like, may as well, root for them for 20 years. Real bandwagony of them, exactly. Thank you, Johnny. But like, there's a lot of excitement from like people who are not on a podcast currently complaining about the refs, and like the NFL knows that. And not that this is like I'm not going to move into the conspiracy of they're rigging these things automatically, but there is something to the normies like it, and the normies actually spend the money.
Yeah, I mean, the NFL's not going to sweat anything until
they're not. Yeah,
viewership or dollars go down, and they're not even close to that concern.
I'm not convinced that. Yeah, I'm not convinced there. Yeah, we will look and pay attention to the ratings. My guess is it'll be fine. Maybe not the highest watched Super Bowl ever, but it'll be fine. And also, and maybe we can talk about this too. And I know that there's a cloud hanging over it. This is a generational run by Patrick Mahomes. We will not talk about Brady, but this is still, regardless of like GOAT discussion, this is a generational run.
Mm-hmm.
He is still a fantastic quarterback. It'll be cool to see someone this good. LeBron got this when he went from Cavs to Heat to Cavs to Lakers. Like, there is a natural hate following of people this clearly dominant in their field. So if you can find anything positive for this coming game, if you're just super frustrated, you might see a talent on that field that won't be matched for a while. And he's still our age. Young.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Well, by NFL standards, he's probably dead. But
right. Yeah. Well, before we
again, I think if Andy Reid stays in the NFL for 2 more seasons, he surpasses, I believe, Belichick as far as playoff victories. He's like 6 or 8 behind, and so unless they're getting wild card slots each of the next seasons,
yeah, that's impressive.
That's his if he wants it.
One other thing I'll say about that Chiefs-Bills game, because out of coming right into that game from the Eagles-Commanders game, a lot of the discourse on Twitter, again, who cares, frankly, but a lot of the discourse on Twitter was, wow, we got to ban the tush push. This is getting ridiculous. Washington's jumping off sides on purpose. The refs are going to award Philadelphia a touchdown. That was great. Who's like, unless you're rooting for Washington, who's upset about that? I actually kind of wanted to see Washington just fly over the offensive line for no reason, get a touchdown awarded by the referees.
Luvu was killing me.
Oh man, doing everything he could. And credit to him.
He was doing whatever he possibly could to stop that tush push from working.
But so that was the talk coming out of Twitter. We should ban the tush push. Well, then the Bills run the tush push and they can't do it. The Eagles are just darn good at the play.
We talked about this last We talked about this last season. Jalen Hurts is big.
Yes.
He's a
It's the
boy.
squat, man. Have you guys seen that guy squat? Nobody's stronger than him in the squat at quarterback. And that's literally what the quarterback sneak is.
Yep.
Yes. It's not
leverage. It's all leverage.
Kelsey's not there. That's okay. Everyone
still
else
works.
knows it. Still works.
Not as well, but
not
still
as
good.
Well. It's not a guaranteed. It's not an HB slam, but it is.
Yeah.
Still
Love
works.
me some HB slam.
Yeah. So to everyone that says ban the tush push, I don't know what to say to you other than that's silly. Just
I'm going to tush push even more.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know if
I'm Roger Goodell, I'm demanding a tush push.
Yeah,
if it
right.
is 3rd or 4th and goal, anywhere closer than the 2.
No one watching Tom Brady throw for 4,000 yards
it.
in the season was like, "Oh, we got to ban the forward pass." Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, right. It's not like if it was just because of the play, every team would do it.
Yeah,
like every team would do the tush push if it was because of the schematics of the play. It's clearly not just that.
Right.
The Eagles, and I've said it from the beginning, the Eagles have a unique set of skill sets for those players, and that's why it works so well for them. Like banning that would literally be detrimental to one team. Like that would be really dumb.
Yep.
If it was if every team could do it and it was just automatic every time and 4th and 1s were basically meaningless because it was just automatic, then I get it. Like, then absolutely we need to fix that. It's only the Eagles. Like, so
yep.
Yeah.
And the
Defend
Chiefs have
those
won 2
Eagles.
Super Bowls in a row without it because they won't do it with Patrick Mahomes. The Ravens actually do it, but without Lamar Jackson. They put Mark Andrews in there. Like, teams will probably start to do maybe what the Ravens have done if you don't have a quarterback that can squat 600 pounds or whatever Jalen Hurts can do that's otherworldly. They'll figure it out maybe, but the Chiefs have proven you actually don't have to have that play in your repertoire to win a Super Bowl. I mean, the Lions didn't do that this year. They won 15 regular season games. So let's pump the brakes on the ban the tush push. Like, come on. Come on. Commanders, that was good try. I don't know what to do to tell you how to stop the Eagles doing it, because
what they did.
Yeah.
I actually would like to, sorry, I know we're trying to move on from this. I don't think, I had no idea that this was a rule. I don't think the officials should ever be able to award a touchdown. I don't think they should be able to.
That feels like a dangerous, that's a Pandora's box.
It took 5 seconds for the tweets to be fired off of Patrick Mahomes realizing the refs can award points.
Exactly.
Like, just
all seasons.
Because it was the game right before, and everyone's oh no, we're gonna I think if the Commanders wanted to just keep doing that forever, they should be able to keep on doing that. I just love the refs were so sick of it, though. They're like, we physically can't move the ball any closer to the end zone without just putting it in. Like, nobody knew that rule, by the way.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, like all these former players, they had no idea. Everybody was shook. They're like, they could what now? But
yeah,
that whole sequence was hilarious. I love that.
Last thing, at least on my end, if you guys want to keep riffing, go for it. Shout out to Reddit CFB on Twitter. This is just a quick Steelers plug. Remember Kenny Pickett?
Yes.
The guy who we abandoned because turns out being from Pittsburgh is not enough to land you a starting role consistently. Well, he just took a victory. Reddit CFB said the Steelers gave up on Kenny Pickett. He just took a victory kneel to advance the Eagles to the Super Bowl. Don't you feel dumb now, Steelers fans?
Yep.
Bring them back.
Idiots.
Dumbos.
We do not care.
Thanks, Mike Tomlin. Thank you. All right. Well, other things happening. We've got the Australian Open. There was plenty of drama there. Shout out Madison Keys. Went through an Ohio State college football playoff-like gauntlet to become an American to win the Australian Open, I believe the first time since 2020. So
been a while.
Well done, Madison Keys. Shout out to you. That was awesome. There was some drama, let's say, in the men's side because you had Djokovic retiring, which confused a lot of people on TikTok. They're like, wait, he's done? Chill. No, it's not what that means. It means he's out for the tournament. It's like he just retired.
My dad said the same
after
thing.
the first set. No,
my dad said the same.
No, how have we as a society never watched a tennis match before? But anyways, that happened. Some weird news in the NBA. So this has been going on for a while, and it just had another wrinkle added to it. Jimmy Butler suspended indefinitely from the Heat. So we obviously have the trade deadline upcoming. I think it's like less than 3 weeks away. That's interesting for a team. Well, really both of our teams. A team like Johnny's, who's one of the best records in the NBA, and the Cleveland Cavaliers. And a team like mine, who is probably not doing anything, but they are young. They are in the 6th seed in the East right now. The Detroit Pistons. We actually play the Cavs tonight in like 15 minutes. So we got to end the show so we can watch that game. And I'll probably be disappointed because I think the Cavs have lost 2 in a row and for the first time all year, and they will probably not lose 3 at home. Anyways, but this Jimmy Butler thing's wild because he has stated publicly, hey guys, I would like to be traded from Miami, And Pat Riley, who they named the court after this season, and GM, head coach, former head coach, kind of the guy in Miami through all of this, says, well, not so fast. We're not trading you. Play anyways, buddy. And Jimmy Butler has been suspended twice already for what they've called conduct detrimental to the team. He walks out of shoot-around today once he learns that he's not going to start in Miami's next game, and he's now suspended indefinitely. So we are at this weird scenario where, like, the face of your franchise for the last 5 years, a guy that has taken you to an NBA Finals, is wants to leave, and then the GM says not so fast. So I don't really know where Miami goes from here. They're under 500 now at this point, so it's turned into a big distraction. Obviously, Jimmy's your best player, so with him not on the floor either, that's not so great. I don't know what you guys think about this, but it's messy, and we've seen Jimmy provide some drama in his intensity, but this is kind of a different. I don't know. This feels a little bit different, but I don't know.
It's different in how he's doing the drama, but it's classic NBA superstar acting, where the issue is normally the players doing that in poorly run franchises that don't have standards. Like, just being honest with you, like, it's the Nets, it's all of these teams that, like, have never really won anything and are desperate to keep their stars, so they'll placate. And Pat Riley has been there and seen and done everything in his life and career. And he's going to hold firm. He is not, unless somebody offers a king's ransom, which he's not going to get for Jimmy Butler at his age. I think Pat Riley's going to leave him suspended the rest of the season, unless Jimmy comes and apologizes, which I doubt Jimmy will do. So I bet this doesn't change. And I actually am totally with Pat Riley on this too. Like, just because you don't like how the team, like, I don't know how we've gotten to this point with NBA players where just because your team's not as good as you hoped for, that you can just quit on your team.
Right.
And people are defending the players. Like, listen, players should have movement ability when your contract's up. You should be able to ask for a trade, sure. You need to keep playing, though. Otherwise, the fines and being suspended are absolutely warranted. Like, you can ask for a trade. They also can absolutely withhold your wages for not showing up to work. Like, so I have no problem with what the Heat have done from this perspective. And Jimmy, from the beginning, didn't go about this correctly, even asking for a trade. Like, he went on, like, a podcast or a talk show or something. Like, man, Pat Riley's not going to respect that. Go talk to Pat Riley. Say, I want to be traded. He might not let you, but that was the only chance you had. The way he went about it gave him a 0% chance of ever getting traded out of Miami, in my opinion. So, I don't know. At least not until the offseason. He is not getting dealt before the trade deadline, in my opinion.
Yeah,
because the Heat, what do you have to gain?
Right.
You're probably, like, even if you make a trade, what happens? You make the play-in tournament? Like, man,
which in fairness
is
what they did when they made to the NBA Finals. But
right.
Yeah.
I know what
you're
you're
saying.
not making that. Yeah, you're not making that run again. Right. Like, so I think part of it is just standing firm on your principles and standards. And Miami always has.
Yep.
Which is part of the reason why actually players usually really love playing for the Heat. Because it's just clear cut. There's no, know the expectations in Miami. There's a real culture, and you don't meet the standards of the culture, then you're going to hear about it. And yeah. Anyway.
I mean, that's what it's a culture so much that they put it on their city uniforms. It says Heat culture. It's ugly as heck, but that's what they do. And Johnny, to your point, I think a player that I respect the way that he handled everything was Damian Lillard. Because he was on some of those Portland teams were stinkers, and they just could not figure out. And I don't know, they couldn't figure out the secret formula to get him the pieces he needed to actually make a legitimate run in the postseason. And he spent a lot of time there, was very loyal, and eventually it got to the point where it's like, all right, I got to get out of here so I can go try and win a championship. That to me is a player who did it the right way. He didn't quit on his team. Portland fans, I don't know how you feel about that because I'm sure there was still some hurt when he left. But if I remember correctly at the time, it was like, all right, Dame, like, thank you for the years you've given to us. Like, go be great. You know what I mean? And maybe that's not how all the fans feel, but if I remember at the time, that was kind of the sentiment. And now he's trying his best with Milwaukee. We'll see where they get to. They've had a much better season than they started. I think they started 2-8, and it's gotten a lot better since then.
Won that play-in tournament. Got
well,
some
yeah,
momentum
right,
off that.
right, yeah, won the in-season tournament. Yeah, so everyone's $1 million richer or something like that. So
something like that.
Yeah. So it's good. I mean, the NBA is really, really good right now. The East is kind of a crapshoot from seeds like 4 through 11 or 12, which is really fun. Well, kind of not fun if you're the Pistons, who are fighting desperately to stay at like the 6 and above mark, so you don't end up in the play-in tournament. But the Pistons have been great. They've been one of the feel-good stories of this season so far, which I, of course, have appreciated. The Cavaliers are playing super, super good. That is such a fun team to watch. The ball movement, I mean, it's just all working right now. Obviously, they lost the last 2 games, but it is all working. In Cleveland, in the West, you've got like the top seeds are Oklahoma City. You've got Memphis up there. You've got, the Lakers are playing well right now under JJ Redick. So it's a good. The NBA's humming along. It's been a good season so far. So we'll see how our Pistons-Cavs rivalry matches up. Josh, I guess not so good for your Mavs. Luka's injured still. It's the most time he's missed in a season, and it is showing with their record, unfortunately.
Not great.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that covers all the general sports news. I know there's NCAA basketball. There is some NFL coaching hires. But Josh, it looks like you may be talking about the Cowboys.
Oh, I'll be chatting that up.
Okay, we'll save it then.
Don't you worry. I have nothing but good news to share.
All right. Well, that's good.
Sometimes the guys make picks based on their vast knowledge of sports. Sometimes they make picks based on vibes.
To me, North Florida is either losing their first game against Austin Peay by 1 billion, or they're winning the Atlantic Sun and making a Sweet 16 run, and there's no in between.
There's no in between.
Either way, they're probably going to be wrong. It's time for Picks of the Week.
All right, we are 4 episodes into season 3, and the best prize that we've figured out for this season of Picks of the Week is going to the 6th most dangerous Waffle House in Birmingham, Alabama. So,
guys, please help us so much, please.
Yeah.
No, this sounds great.
Oh man. I feel like it's even better if like you get a ride from your buddy and they just drop you off. Like you don't even have a car to get out of there. You just get dropped off.
Yo.
Congratulations on your win.
See you in a couple hours.
See, I just knew I wasn't going to win 3 seasons in a row, so I'm like, let's give the worst prize this season.
Oh no. Well, there is some movement, as Josh alluded to at the top of the show, with our current scoreboard. We made our Super Bowl picks last week, and Josh sold his soul for some points, and gosh darn it, it worked. I need to start doing that. He picked the Kansas City Philly.
I used my soul to sense the tides.
Yeah.
And I got dark tides.
Yes.
Recognizing it, rats jumping off a ship have to sense something. And you may as well get some points while you're jumping off the ship.
Yeah, and you did. You've got 5 points now because both Kansas City and Philly made it to the Super Bowl. Johnny's got 3. He went 0 for 2. I went 1-1 with my picks. So I've got 3 points. So it's Josh 5, Johnny 3, Aaron 3. Yeah, so that's last week. Obviously, some points. What you've got the Chiefs 3-peating, right, Josh? Did I get that right?
Yeah,
picks?
I have the 3-peat.
All right, so you got
to get another point.
You might get another point there, which should be pretty significant. Johnny, what's going on this week? There's a particular basketball game we've decided to pick. Why don't you talk to us a little bit about what's going on in the Horizon League? Because you actually got some Horizon League action, yesterday? 2 days ago?
Saturday. Yeah. So, we just picked the Super Bowl. So we're contrasting styles in our picks here, if you will. Picking the biggest football games of the year, and you know what? Also the biggest basketball games in college this year. We're
That's
not
right.
going to say anything bad about the Horizon League. We love the Horizon League. So I went Saturday to the Nutter Center here in Dayton, Ohio, to watch Wright State play Dayton. And Wright State was up basically 16 from the jump and just buried them. Detroit is quite bad. Detroit Mercy. So we thought it would be fun if we picked really probably the two worst teams in the Horizon League who are playing this coming Saturday. So let me give you some stats. If you're like, Johnny, I know nothing about these teams. Please help. Well, Detroit Mercy is 6-16. Actually, it's better than last year. And Green Bay is 2-20.
Ooh.
Oof. Woo. Now, here's some other stats so far. So, okay. I can't believe this. Currently, Green Bay's losing streak is 17 in a row. Detroit has lost 6 in a row. Green Bay's giving up over 80 points a game. Detroit, 75. Pretty good. And they're both only scoring 68 and 66. So, I mean, we got a great... Now, if you are in the Green Bay area, tickets are as low as $13.
Ooh.
I do encourage you to go.
I got into ACC competitor SMU football
Yes.
for $5.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Side note, SMU, please support your team anyway.
Yeah, honestly, though, Josh is right. But if you're in the area, you should go to this game. And why'd I say in Green Bay? In the Detroit area. Now, the ESPN predictor, which is awful and never accurate at all, but Detroit only has a 60% chance of winning this game, which is like the best percentage chance that Green Bay's had all season to win a game.
It's
So,
a coin flip.
are we going to pick the upset today? Are we going to pick Detroit to continue their way better season than last year somehow? Or are we going to pick Doug Gottlieb, who moonlights as a college head coach and continues his talk show during the day? Because that's working out really well their first year.
You can do a show and coach.
No,
I
no,
Not
you
well.
can't.
Not well.
and I'm not good at this, so I can't imagine what my coaching would be. What if
I can't
what if
believe-
it turns
like,
out,
okay.
What if it turns out I'm a fantastic coach?
But how? I have a
just
question though.
can't-
Like, Doug Gottlieb's stupid, but he's always been stupid. Like, so that's
Right.
not like news. Who thought at Green Bay that this was a good idea?
I don't know.
That's what I want to know. Like, who thought? Who thought this was a good idea? They're 2-20. Aaron, weren't they like the fourth? Like, they finished
Yes.
like fourth in the Horizon League last year.
Yep.
They were pretty good.
Mhm.
Like, I mean, remarkable. Just fall from grace.
Mhm.
Just
Mhm.
terrible.
And it's all been public.
terrible.
Like
Oh,
if
yeah.
Green Bay for some, I think they didn't fire their coach. I think he left, but maybe I don't know.
Yeah, he left.
Whatever the situation, if they just hired some like normal guy like their assistant and they go 2-20, like that really stinks for them. But no one outside of those who like are really following Horizon League basketball are batting an eye. The whole world knows who their coach is and how terrible they are.
All press is good press.
Yeah.
Aaron, did you? I mean, you heard what he said about. Was it Michigan Tech or
Yep.
was it Northern Michigan?
Michigan Tech. I
And
think.
yeah, he insulted them before the game, and then they beat him.
Called him nobody
like-
you.
And they're a Division II program, not
Yep.
like, yeah, they're not even a Division I program, and they lost that game. So it's not going well for Doug Gottlieb. Anyway, this is not about him. This is about picking this wonderful game that you all should attend.
He thinks it's about him, but it's not.
Yeah, well, yes, that's clearly the issue.
Oh.
Talk about main character syndrome.
Mhm.
I have Detroit Mercy winning 78-64.
Nice. I
Just
have
an arbitrary kind of no defense game.
Yeah, I've got 82-66 Detroit Mercy. And shout out to Detroit Mercy. I know the season has not gone very well. You just said a 6-game losing streak. Guys, they were 1-31 last year. Their
Right,
lone
much
win,
better.
I believe, came against our friends, Ooey Pooey.
Oh, phew. I thought you were going to say Urdgov.
No, but more on them in a moment. So I've got Detroit
Okay.
Mercy 82-66. It'll be close in the first half, and then Doug Gottlieb will try to make a halftime adjustment, and it'll backfire in his face.
Does he like do a segment at halftime? Like, or does
Probably.
he actually coach up his
No,
players?
he's probably in the
He goes on-
studio.
He goes on Twitter for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
You know, Ask Urban on Twitter. That's what he does.
oh no.
Yes.
It blocks everyone who asks mean questions.
There's no one left, Josh. Those are the only questions he's getting.
It's bots. He has so many bots ready to go.
That's true.
That's why it takes him 25 minutes. He has to log into. He has like 15 phones, and 14 of them are different accounts.
Mhm.
And he has to make sure that for his Reddit AMAs that it's only the good questions. You know what?
You're not. Do it, Josh. Do it. Pick Green Bay to win.
Green Bay's on a 2-game winning streak against Detroit Mercy.
Oh. Okay.
Because
Johnny's
they haven't
excited.
played so far this year.
Exactly. Exactly. Also, as a
Oh,
as a fun
no.
little trivia, Johnny, what was your score again? 78-64. That was the exact score of the last game they played.
Oh.
Really?
Wow.
2022. At Detroit Mercy, Green Bay won 78-64.
Wow.
So I'm gonna go. Let's listen. If the three-peat is working for football, the three-peat is working for basketball.
Josh,
Okay.
I beg of you not to do this to yourself. Don't.
All right, here we go. I don't even have to do a score because I know. Also,
Oh,
what was the
man.
coach's name again? The coach's name
Doug
again?
Gottlieb.
Gottlieb? Is that a B
Yeah.
at the end?
Mhm.
Oh, so starts with a G,
Yes.
ends with a B? What's the
Yep.
logo of Green Bay? Done. Done. Not even a question. Green Bay.
Yep. Well done, Josh.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Done.
Oh, me and Aaron didn't even need to pick a score.
No, we didn't. Speaking of Utergrove, what you hear behind you, if the soundboard's working correctly, that wouldn't be the fight song because we couldn't find a fight song for a university that is spliced together between two universities. It's the alma mater. And here's just an update about the team. And boy, these voices are really distracting me. Let's see if I can get through this.
By the
So-
time it gets through us in the stream, man, it sounds haunted.
Yeah, I know.
It sounds like it's a rehauntation for like a horror movie.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
You would put this in front of 27 years later.
Right. So the Vaqueros are 12-8 this year. Not bad. They are 4-5
okay.
in the Southland Conference, so some work needed there. However, they are 8-2 at home, which is ironic because they're not even sure where home is. Because again,
It's two different
they're
places.
two different places. So they don't even know where home is, and they're 8-2. Tonight, as we're recording, they are hosting in the Utergrove Fieldhouse in Edinburgh, Texas, Nichols. Southland Conference Monday Madness.
Yes.
So 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN Plus. Utergrove.
Remember
Yes.
that Disney Plus bundle you got all this time ago?
Mhm.
Dust off that ESPN Plus
Yes.
It was for such a time as this.
as this.
Yeah.
Stop watching your 30
They
for 30
are.
documentaries and watch this.
They're 2-6. Sorry, they're 2-4 in their last 6. That's how math works.
They'll turn around.
They'll figure it out. Last game they played was against McNeese, and it did not go well. Lost 63-93. It's one of their worst losses of the year. But you know what? They got it behind them. It's all up from here. Utergrove, our team, our guys. Go Utergrove.
The guys spent hours scrolling social media, and they found some pretty dumb stuff. Now they want to talk to you about it.
The real ones know that we would call it ooey pooey.
Ooey pooey.
R.I.P. to ooey pooey.
Ooey Pooey's the
Got you.
answer.
I didn't even need to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
never
done.
mind.
Good luck. It's time for What We're Following.
I don't care they're called IU Indianapolis now, technically. Correct answer is ooey pooey. I'm actually looking up right now because I told you that Detroit Mercy beat them last year in basketball, and now I'm having second thoughts if that's true or not. So I'm doing some research. But while I do that, Johnny, I think you've got a very good question that we need to discuss.
Yeah. So I was roaming across Twitter, if you will, and it came across where there's this one Brad Pitt meme with him in a tank, and the tank's pointing it at you, and it says, I believe it says "fire at that guy" or something like that. And it was in response to quote tweeting somebody who said it's perfectly fine to change teams, like change loyalties. So this is actually not something I'm really presenting, but asking the question to you fine gentlemen. Are you allowed to change your loyalty? And if so, when? Like when is it allowed? Like we're not talking about choosing who you're cheering for originally. That's a different discussion, who you're allowed to pick when you're like born. We're not going there. This is clearly you have your team. When, if at all, are you allowed to change your loyalties?
I feel like realistically, I have to go generally no, except for things like, I feel like marriage is a big thing. Or if you're like a hardcore, I don't know, Bengals fan or something. Not to just point out Johnny, but like say you marry a diehard Titans fan. And like, I'm not saying that's why you married her, but
neither
like,
one's good. They're both bad. That's terrible. You're not even marrying up at that point.
yeah, it's a lateral move.
Oh,
Sports isn't about joy. It's about feeling bad for 1 month.
you're
going to
give me the
because you
Packers or
realize,
something. Jeez.
Fine, the Chargers.
No, that's not good either. That's also lateral. They're cursed in a different way.
Fine, the Raiders. I'm not going to give you this, Johnny.
Oh gosh, we're going down. I'm staying a Bengals fan, and
I'm
that's
the
also.
Jags. Do you want me to
Listen,
keep doing
I'm
this? Find
the
Jets.
wrong person. I would rather die than change my loyalties. The only scenario for me that I deem acceptable is team relocation. Like if
Definitely
I'm a
team.
Bengal, no, I'm not going to put that into the atmosphere.
Say I'm a
if
Browns
I
fan
were-
from the 80s.
Yeah,
Oakland.
yeah. When the
Oakland.
Browns left, like if the Browns had never gotten a team back, like you don't have to cheer for the Ravens,
Right.
Like go cheer for whoever you want. Like at that point, like the Rams when they moved to Los Angeles, you don't have to cheer for the Rams anymore. Pick whoever you want at that point. Like that's not your fault. It's not in your control. And they're moved to a totally different geographical region. Like if anything, you probably hate them anyway. But so like that's clearly allowed. Yeah, Aaron, A's fans, you don't have to follow them anymore.
Right.
Honestly, I also would tell you not to. Please don't. And I know you're not going to cheer for the Giants, but I don't know, cheer for the Mariners. I don't know. Like pick somebody, not the A's. That's the only scenario that I deem acceptable. Other than that, I typically am like bandwagon.
I agree. There's one exception that I have that just jumped out because it's maybe the only exception I can think about. Browns fans, if you guys are ready after the Deshaun Watson thing, be my guest. And really really like when it happened, right? Like with his history to that contract to what it's turned into now, at any point through this process from when it started till now or even moving on to the future, if you were just to say, you know what, I can't do it anymore with this team, I'm not
a
blaming you at all.
morality clause, if you will.
Yes, morality clause.
Yes.
Yes.
A morality clause in your fandom.
Yep.
I can go along with that.
Mhm.
Yes.
Josh, any additions or arguments? This was a question. The only
No,
one
it's a
I
good-
thought
no,
of
I'm
was
here for
teams
debate.
moved.
Teams moved. I mean, it's so hard because again, it's something because we all know, or not that we all know, but I picked the Steelers back when I was neutral. I had family who was Bengals. I had family who was Browns. I saw the writing on the wall, and I went, if I can be not part of this, and if I've not officially chosen, I'm still neutral.
Right.
I'll go ahead and go with Steelers. And now
And one of your best
sad that
friends
the
growing
rest
up
of
was a
you-
Steelers fan too. So it's not like you just like
Exactly,
plucked to the
from
top of the
Pittsburgh.
NFL standings. So yeah.
Absolutely. Yes, yeah. They happened to have beat the Cardinals that year. That just happened to be the case. But I've stuck with them. I could have
You
flipped
have
so many
you
times.
yes you have. Yes you have.
All right. I was the only. You remember when you all abandoned me for that one Super Bowl against the Packers at AT&T?
Yeah, and the Packers won. I was right.
And in retrospect, Josh, I regret that because if the roles were reversed, I'd be like, Aaron Rodgers with 0 Super Bowls? Yes, please.
Yes, please. Yeah. If we knew
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
if we knew now.
Well, that's hard. I don't know.
It's
I don't
easy
want
for
the
me now.
Steelers to have another
I
Super
think-
Bowl.
I also
But
wasn't a
Aaron
Lions fan
Rodgers-
back
Hey,
then.
but
So,
who wouldn't be? You know,
Aaron
who-
Rodgers not
having
having
no
one
Super
Super
Bowls?
Bowl is objectively hilarious. Like just hilarious.
That is fair. But I will say, counterpoint, the Steelers would be up to 7, which means the
I know,
Patriots would
and
not
that's-
be.
Ugh,
But the Patriots
I
would
hate
not be.
that. I know. I
So-
hate both of that. That is all bad.
You can pick
It's
one or the
all
other.
bad.
You can pick one or the other.
It's all terrible.
Mhm.
And doesn't matter. Tomlin would still be hired.
Josh, your original point about marriage, like, and combining your
'Cause
teams.
I was thinking
That's a good
specifically
point,
you, because
too.
You were a Colts guy and are now a Lions guy, and for me, I have no issue with that.
Mhm.
I literally went, oh yeah, that's fair. Your brother is now like following the Bears. And I'm
Right,
like, yeah,
right.
this is fine.
And even then, like,
And
I
maybe
would
it's 'cause we're from
I would have told you
yeah.
the Colts were my favorite team, but did I watch them like more than like back then? Now I'm all in on my teams to an obsessive level that's probably unhealthy. Like, was I watching the Colts more than 4 times a year? Probably not. But if someone's like, "Well, who's your NFL team?" I wanted to say somebody. So,
You got to pick.
yeah. But like for
Manning,
me,
the
like
Mannings.
Ohio person marrying a Michigan person, our college teams were certainly not going to work together.
You're not switching over.
And even like I've taken the Pistons because I didn't really like have an NBA team growing up. Like I'd always root for the Cavs, but I kind of followed players more than teams. So like I've adopted a lot of the Michigan teams, but diehard Reds fan from basically since I can remember watching baseball. So I'm not like I'm rooting for the Tigers when they're on TV, but like the Reds are my team. Same thing with the Blue Jackets. So like but you're right. That does make things a little bit different when when you have that. But I'm with you guys. Generally, the people that are saying, "Oh yeah, you can switch your fandom however you want,"
No,
wrong.
absolutely not.
They're dumb. They're dumb and
I
wrong.
just thought of one slight amendment, which really hasn't happened in our lifetime. But
Okay.
if there was an expansion team
Yeah.
in your
Oh.
region,
Yes.
hold on, in your region,
Yep.
like I can't jump ship and just go be a Seattle Kraken fan just because they were a brand new team.
Yeah.
I can't just jump ship because that
Counterpoint.
is just picking a like you could if you weren't a fan of any team beforehand, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking
Right.
about switching fandoms. And Aaron, I'd also basically argue you and Austin really were fanless almost before picking the Bears and Lions.
Mhm.
Like that would,
Mhm.
I don't know.
Right.
But anyway, so like this is my if like I'm a Cavs fan for basketball, but typically I cheer for Cincinnati teams.
Mhm.
But in the NBA, there isn't like a second Ohio team. It's like the only league like that pretty much. Like if Cincinnati got an NBA team back, yes, they used to have one.
Mhm.
They're now in Sacramento.
Yeah.
Or if Columbus, maybe that would be a bigger one because I'd be in conflict with Cincinnati. But if Columbus got an NBA team and I'm allowed to jump ship,
Yes.
like you're allowed to jump ship if you have ties to that region. Like
Yep.
Josh, you would count. You're from Columbus. You don't
Oh,
have to like
absolutely.
be living in Columbus, but you have to have ties. I have no
absolutely.
ties to Seattle. So I can't just oh man, that's a sweet name, which it is, and be like, I'm a Seattle Kraken fan now. Now, I can cheer for them. This is not, you can't cheer for any other teams.
Right.
But that's not your team. You're not a fan of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that is very important that we have minimal clauses.
One
and
other
therefore
clause I'll
extreme
add,
circumstances.
because I do think it's worth it, is you yourself moving. Like Josh has moved to Dallas. It is acceptable for Josh to, if he so chose, to root for the Stars, to root for the Mavs.
No, here's the thing. I have, because again, I was fandomless when it came to NBA.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, yeah, I'll follow the Mavs.
Yeah.
My Stars fandom does not supersede my Blue Jackets.
There you
fandom.
go. Yep.
Yeah, so you didn't. That means you didn't change fandom.
No,
though.
listen,
you didn't.
I could have if I wanted to.
Right.
Nope,
But
that
again,
would
being
break
a
the
fan-
rules. I don't
and
agree
here's
with
the
this
thing.
clause.
Okay.
Now,
All
here's
right.
the thing.
All right.
I don't agree with this clause. If
Here-
you move, all the more reason you stick it to
To
those
stick-
people. If
yeah.
I move to
No, I
Detroit,
will say
I'm
when it
going to
came
rub
to-
all the Ohio victories in their face.
Now, as a counter, I will actually cede that to you because coming down here, it was the Crew and it was Ohio State that kind of
Mhm.
kept me that dug me in.
Mm.
Yeah.
And I have an affinity now for the Ohio teams, kind of that Ohio versus the world mantra,
Right.
just because that is a good tie. Like, I'm not flipping to FC Dallas.
no.
No, there was no.
And
save
Austin would be a sin for you to flip to Austin.
No, I'm not allowed. I must boo and throw things at the stadium
Yes.
every time I go by it in honor of Anthony
Exactly.
Nichols. No, I am not allowed.
No. Mavs, fine. You weren't an
I
NBA
went-
fan before.
I
That's
went to
okay.
a
That's
pub
not in the
to-
clause. You don't need
I
to.
went to a pub to watch a Tottenham game, and there was in Austin, and there was an Austin FC logo, and I had to face the other way.
Oh, very good, Josh. I thought you were going to say, and I became a Tottenham fan. And I was going to say, Josh, don't do that to yourself. Save yourself. Don't do
No.
that.
If I'm used to misery as an
Oh.
Ohio fan, I may as well embrace the Browns of the.
Oh. Arsenal is Ohio State. Just always right there. And they just so rarely ever actually break through. But they're
Yeah.
always
Nah.
good.
No, my team. My team is still Luton Town. I know they got.
Josh, they're going to get relegated again.
Oh no.
They're probably
That's
going to
right.
get relegated
That's why I'm
again.
sticking with them. You gotta
Yes.
stick with the hat.
Let's go,
Oh.
Josh. No one's going to be able to call you a champion chaser.
True.
Yep.
Very true.
Because
Yeah.
this is the most important part of this conversation. Again, I just said this. Sports fandom is not about being happy.
That
If you are
Correct.
happy, if you are
Yes.
happy consistently as a sports fan, I do not trust you.
yeah.
No, Josh, that is an excellent point. That is an excellent point. That is so good. That was philosophical. That should be on the
if I see
wall
a
next
guy-
to your mom's live, laugh, love.
Mm.
Like, that should be next to it because that is so good. And that's how you know they're a bandwagoner
Mm.
because there is no way all of
you've
your
never-
teams are all doing well. No way.
If you know a guy and he is consistently over like a 20-year period of you knowing him, always kind of chipper, you know that he's sus.
Hmm.
There's something off on that guy.
Yeah.
How dare he be happy?
How dare he?
Boston fans, this is probably why you guys get so much crap from everyone else because you do win a championship like every 2 years. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah. Anyways, guys, I'm excited to let you all know that Fifth and Goal is global now. Apparently, I learned, and you know what's funny is you think me kind of running the show over here, I would know about this. I didn't. I was surprised. So if you all remember back this summer, we had the Olympics. And so we produced a series of videos where I kind of explained each and every, I think, 46 Summer Olympic events. And the series did really well. We gained a lot of traction on a variety of different social media platforms. So that was exciting. What I found on YouTube when I was doing a quick perusal of YouTube Studio, as one does, that someone had taken the videos, ripped them straight off the internet, which is something I would never do with sound effects or anything else. ripped it straight off the internet and re-uploaded it as their own, but because this was a Spanish-speaking audience, they AI dubbed the videos in Spanish. But here's the kicker, guys. I can't tell for sure, so audience, you'll have to let me know, but I think they just took my voice and put it through AI and made it Spanish. So here it is. Explico cada deporte olímpico y hoy hablamos del tiro. Los eventos se dividen en competiciones de rifle, pistola y escopeta. En rifle y pistola, los atletas apuntan a un blanco para sumar puntos. En la clasificación, hacen 40, 120 tiros según el evento, y los 8 mejores pasan a la final. So,
Aaron, I had no idea that you were bilingual.
I know.
No idea.
Duolingo really paying off, man.
Your vocal trails are insane. Man, you're rolling those R's beautifully.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man.
So anyways,
Hey,
if you couldn't tell what that was, because why would you be able to know unless
I
you
heard Blanco,
speak
that's all I
Spanish?
got.
That was the video of how Olympic pistol shooting works, or pistol, rifle, shotgun. I guess they're all rolled up into one. In English, that video has 3.6 million views on YouTube. In Spanish, it's only got 14,000. So you guys really maybe could have actually picked a better voice than apparently my own voice.
They do not like Spanish Aaron.
No, they don't. But that was wild. I stumbled across that because it popped up in the YouTube studio like, hey there, bud. We found this. This might be you. Is it? And I watched it and I was like, gosh, yes. I think so. So that's where we're at, guys. We are global. We are across the world. Fifth and Goal really has made its mark in the world. Now, on a serious note, we have been listened to in just about, I think, 47 of the 50 states in the history of this podcast. So that's pretty sweet. So thank you for that, listeners.
Cool.
I can't say what our reach is in Spanish-speaking countries, but it's better than when we started, I guess, apparently.
What states are we down? We need to visit those states personally.
It's probably Delaware.
No, I actually think Delaware's on the list. I'll have to pull it out. It's been a minute since I've
looked at
Joe
Biden.
But yeah,
we make enough jokes about the Northeast. We talk
True.
about Penn State enough.
I mean, I just slandered Boston fans 2 minutes ago.
You did.
So.
He's back. He's in.
Yeah. So that's all I have. Just Spanish Aaron, Spanish Fifth and Goal. It's weird. The internet's a weird place out there, guys.
Cinco y goal. Exactly.
Yeah. There you go. Cinco.
Whatever goal is.
I think it's just goal, isn't it?
Goal? Yeah. Well, I guess that's. I don't want to. This is going to get us.
We just said 5 and goal,
That's
but
kind of
close
what they
enough.
yell.
Yeah, true. I think, but is it GOL? I'm looking it up.
I mean, if they're getting rid of the, if they get rid of all the extra vowels.
Yeah, it's GOL. That's how it's
perfect.
Goal.
Goal.
All right, I need. If you need me to speak Spanish at any time, explico cada deporte olímpico y hoy hablamos del tiro. It's there. It's in the soundboard.
I don't like that. It just gets creepier every time I see it.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yep. All right, that's it.
You know what else is okay? The Cowboys. They're doing great. They're doing fine.
Not a good time. I really regret this.
Is what he probably is already saying.
Yeah.
Because remember when Mike McCarthy was fired, a guy who won, of all things, a Super Bowl. Remember which Super Bowl?
Yeah.
For the Packers.
Yep.
In AT&T. He has won more Super Bowls in AT&T as a Packers coach than a Cowboys coach. Jerry.
Oh, Jerry.
Oh, Jerry.
Not to interrupt, the Commanders got rid of Dan Snyder. The very next year, they were in the NFC Championship game. You know the last team in the NFC to not have gone to a championship game? It's the Cowboys now, because the Commanders went there yesterday.
It's awesome.
Yep.
Isn't that great?
Yep.
That is a fantastic stat.
Taylor
Swift. It is so good.
Taylor Swift has gone to a Super Bowl more times than the Cowboys.
Woo!
Everyone has. Even the Bengals have been there now.
Even the Bengals.
I mean, my goodness. Well, Browns fans can't say anything.
Browns fans
everybody else basically
Browns
can.
Browns fans at least can go back to some of the runs they had I mean, it's close to, we're getting close to a decade and go, and then early 2000s. Like, but those are still points of excitement.
Browns fans are self-aware and self-deprecating.
Here's the thing:
Cowboys
Browns
fans
know.
aren't.
No, yeah. Here's the thing: Browns fans, we have like, I have never met a Browns fan I don't like. There's probably those out there, but like, I've had no issues with them.
They're like, "Yay, my team! They suck."
Yes, yeah, exactly. that is the platonic ideal
Yes.
of a fan.
And
Bag
that's
over
the
your
idea
head,
that you were
1-15, 0-16,
Yes.
win a game, go treat yourself to Texas Roadhouse type.
Oh. See, Josh, but that goes back to your point, and it was an excellent point.
It
The
makes
point
the
of being a
victories-
fan is not about being happy.
It makes the victory sweeter. And if you insist upon being happy and insist upon rooting for a team that is not objectively competitive and hasn't been for since we've been alive, I think it was 95 was the last time they did anything of note. Maybe let's just say 96. Maybe they did. I don't care to look up their record in 96. But in near 30 years, if you insist on being happy for that sports team, you have to make up ish to make up for it. And man, I think that is coming to an end for Cowboys fans.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, nobody wanted that job.
nobody wanted that job. There was
Nobody
rumors.
wanted it.
Oh, they were looking at Prime's not gonna. No, Prime don't
Mm.
want that. Prime doesn't want to be manhandled by Jerry Jones.
No, he
Hey,
wouldn't
Julie,
allow it,
You wouldn't allow it.
which
And
means Jerry would get rid of him.
Let's say seriously that they were looking and that they put an offer out, which I don't think happened. But let's just say that happens. Sanders is putting so many clauses into that contract to ensure he has some form of creative control.
Yeah.
To a degree, again, okay. It was rumors. We're not gonna because hey, guess who they hired? Big name, big guy coming in. Oh crap! I didn't practice this name beforehand.
Schottenheimer.
Brian Schottenheimer got it in one. Is now as of like 5 hours ago. The press release was today, as of this recording. Days ago, as of whenever you're listening to it. In Frisco, at the Dallas Star, Brian Schottenheimer, the team's offensive coordinator for the past 2 seasons. Count them, 1-2 seasons as their OC. Who didn't call the plays, is their new head coach. And you know what he said? I'm honored and privileged to be the next head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. I'm ready now. I know what I want. I know what it looks like. Cool. You know who else hires internally? Bad teams. Teams that are way overvalued. You know who else would hire internally? Michigan when their head coach leaves. This is no. Rumors are because Cowherd put this out today. I forget. This is another Jerry family move. This may not be specifically Jerry. Could be. I believe there was rumors that a son of his was. There was some sort of connection there. But yeah, this is. Ignore the next week or two of press releases and excitements. Cowboys fans are ticked. I have so many TikToks saved that are just, this is the stupidest team. This is, and I mean this with all due respect to the team I'm about to compare them to, genuinely. This is a Jets move.
Oh.
And that's not a knock against the Jets, but the Jets have struggled. There's very little, it's hard to have that social capital that is, hey, I can come in as a coach and I don't feel weird pressure to do things. Like this is a great. Yeah,
Josh, give
I'm
credit to the Cowboys. For the Cowboys,
yes.
it's his adult son making some of the decisions. With the Jets,
fair.
it's his teenage son making some of the decisions.
You know what?
So,
That's right.
it's I guess
This
it's a
guy-
slight improvement.
It's a slight improvement. No, don't get. Why are you giving the Cowboys anything? We just
It's a slight improvement over the Jets. That's not a.
It's
That's
a
not
low,
a good
low
quality.
bar.
A very low bar.
What is okay? So here's what they're gonna do. They're gonna go. Here's my prediction. They're gonna get real bad next year because first year head coach. You're gonna give him a season of bad. Dak's gonna probably hurt himself. He's gonna do some sort of AC. It's gonna be an ACL thing. I don't want that to happen. That's bad. Yeah, it's bad. It's sad. And they're gonna be top 5. They're gonna get a top 5 draft. Coming into the 2026 draft. And you know who they're gonna draft? His name starts with an A. It ends with an Arch Manning. And guess what? Them boys be back.
I don't know. I think the Manning
year Super
family
Bowl.
might say no. They're smarter than that. I think the
Mhm.
family might say no.
I'm not saying that the Mannings want this to happen. I'm saying this is when Jerry will cash his final check, and he will somehow he has something on the Mannings. I don't have my conspiracy clock with me, but I'm creating the conspiracy.
Johnny, that's
He's gonna
not
have something
outlandish
on the Mannings
statement though.
and
That a
force the
Manning
issue.
wouldn't want to go to the team that drafted him. Like, there's no precedence for that
Mhm.
whatsoever.
No precedent for that.
Yeah.
When was the last
And in fairness,
time?
he was right.
Yeah, he
too,
was.
So
Yep.
I mean,
I
So
know
that's-
the Cowboys talked to Dion, and there's no way that Jerry Jones was going to say yes because Dion has too. Frankly, Dion would be too good for Jerry Jones. I'll put it that way.
yeah,
He'd be too good for
Yeah.
it because I think he'd be great.
yeah.
He's like broccoli to a little kid.
Yeah.
Just like, Jerry, you got to eat this, man. It's good for you. And he's no.
Mm-hmm.
And he's over there eating his Snickers bar. I'm only going to eat candy.
Yeah.
That's what's-
No, and here's the thing. Yeah, if I'm Dion, I don't want to leave. I know we criticized Colorado, and I think that's still
They had a great
due.
year.
They actually had a great year. They went from
year.
completely irrelevant joke of a team to having a decent bowl game, losing, but like having a decent season at the end. Of
9-4,
the second
pretty
season.
good.
That's not bad. That's faster than what we predicted. So
Yeah.
I would stay. You're getting momentum with Colorado, and you can call the shots still. They still trust you. I'm not going to be micromanaged by an octogenarian.
Yeah.
No.
No hated octogenarians. I'm not going to be bossed around by that guy.
Yep. I agree. Well, we'll see. The
Oh, also,
Cowboys
real
are
quick,
ever dramatic as always, and yet
boy.
irrelevant, but yet we must talk about them because it's a car on fire falling off a bridge.
I would
That's an
be
expression, I'm sure.
Yes. I would be remiss if I didn't leave this what I'm fine. And I know we have to get out of here. But man, just in honor of, I guess, us kind of becoming low-key Philly. Yeah, good job, Philly.
Mhm.
For the next 2 weeks. You know who else is kind of like, yeah, I'm really big. Let's get the Eagles going. Philadelphia Mayor Sherelle Parker.
Yay.
She put out a press release because it was going to be kind of a for the NFC Championship, and she was trying to hype up the crowd. It's cold. She's trying to be like, hey, if you gotta, take a car, drive safely, take the bus. She did say, and no one talks about this. She did say, hey, if you're a little bit sick or something, get on mass transit. And I'm like, I feel like we discussed this a few years ago. I don't think that's the best idea.
Mm.
She's like, go get on a bus, get down there. We need the support. And then she goes, all right, guys, give me an E. Give me an L. Give me a G. S. E. S. T. Eagles. It is that spelling exactly. in a Leslie Knope Parks and Rec sketch that would have been struck down in the writer's room for being too unbelievable to be funny. The mayor, who I'm sure is a lovely woman and seems to be taking the backlash well as possible through the press releases, did the best worst spelling of a word that you learn in first grade that I've ever heard.
Yep.
And I am ready the first time that there's a reasonably priced ELGSES t-shirts. If I can get those before...
Yeah.
Hey,
how does one pronounce that, Josh?
Eagles, right? Eagles.
Oh, that's true. Because she did say...
Yeah, that's how it's spelled.
Yeah, that's
how it's
true.
Spelled.
That's a good point.
Also, hey, can I just, since we're here, can that be the prize?
Oh.
An Eagle shirt.
But spelled that way.
Yeah, because I have a link here.
Oh, that's good. Yes, I think that should be the prize.
Okay. Done.
If it's too expensive, we'll make our own. But yes, I like that idea.
Oh no, we 100% know. I got accounts with shirt. Listen, the same guy. I got my mug guy. I'm sure he does shirts too.
Okay, great. Okay, great. Well, listeners, viewers, I guess that really kind of summarizes the two groups. It's not, you really can't be. That's the only way to watch us. Have a good one. Thanks for listening. Thanks for checking out this episode. We'll see you next week with more on the Super Bowl. We might break down the game itself a little bit, see if the Chiefs have the advantage, if the Eagles have the advantage, what we think is going to go down in New Orleans. Until then, we'll see you all next week. Have a good one.
All right. Stop. Save. I'll go through that tomorrow and make sure it's clean.
All right.